This is Yerushalmi Meseches Ma'aser Sheni. In the article Oz Bahar edition, we're on Daf Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. We are the first by the line Chavrai Amei Shena Misvade, and in the Vilna that is 3 lines from the bottom of Lamed Amud Beis. Only we're going to go with the Gersa of the Yerushalmi here, which makes life easier. There's Yerushalmi's Gersa as well. Chavrai, I mean, Sheni Misvade, not B'Revi'is, B'Chamishis, but B'Shlishis, Ela B'Revi'is. Because Chavrai say that you can't do B'Chibid and Meiser any other year besides the 4th year at Pesach time. You can't do it the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd year. It's not valid. Rabbi Eliezer said, no, She'enim Ma'akev, it should be, instead of V'Revi'is B'Chamishis, V'Du B'Shlishis, Ela Revi'is. It's not Ma'akev, not an impediment. You have to do it B'Revi'is. Not in the Shlishis around the Beis, but you can do it any time. In fact, there's possibly Zrizim Makdim in the mitzvahs to do it earlier. And so, according to Rav Hila, you can do it the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd year too. You don't have to wait till the 4th year. What's the difference between the two of them? If you, it sounds like it's not L'chatchila, perhaps, but certainly if you did it with the Eved, you're in his Vada the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd year. So, perhaps Rabbi Hila doesn't hold Zrizim Makdim mitzvahs. Perhaps he holds you shouldn't do it earlier, but you are Yotze earlier. So I'll die to the Chavraya. According to the Chavraya, it's possible. It's not valid. What's the word? Ifnei Zmano. Chus Zman. Whereas according to Rav Hila, Rav Hila kosher. It's okay. At least with the Eved, if you're misvaded one of the other years. Okay, so now we're going to the pasuk. We'll continue on the pasuk. It says, at the end of 3 years, you should take out oil and meiser of your grain on that year. Now, there are many pshatim in this Gemara. I'm not going with the article, I'm going with the Yerushalmi pshat, which I assume is the Ras Civilio's pshat. I think he does read down the Ras Civilio. And others. Whatever. So the during the last year of when you're being by the Maisris, ad Motziyah Min Tomei al Hator. You can take out the Meiser Rishon from the Tomei to the Tor. Now, you can't take out the other years from the Tomei and the Tor. Now, it's difficult. What do you mean? That's what they Chumas Meiser Min Tomei Tor, because then the Chumas Meiser is going to be Tomei, and the Kohen is not going to be able to eat it. So what's the pshat? So, Amr Abelezer, let's say Kini Mas Nisa. This is the way I understand the Brisa. In the 3rd year, you're allowed to take out, in other words, the final year before Beer Meisers, you're allowed to take from a place of Tumah, in other words, not give it to a Levi, even though a Levi could eat Shumas the Meiser in a Mokum Tumah, and even the Beis HaKvaros, and it's learned from a Pasuk that we should endorse and encourage this behavior, because it says, and the Bible says, I feel Beis HaKvaros. So it's we want to be able to eat even Mokum Tumah. Not the Chumas Meiser, obviously, which has to be taken off and eaten elsewhere, but the rest of the Meiser. Motzi Mokum Tuma, Mokum Tara, you bring Mokum Tara, meaning to a Kohen, you can only eat a Mokum Tara. Ve'er Motzio V'shar Kol Shani Mokum Tuma Mokum Tara. Other years, you can't take it from a Mokum Tuma to a Mokum Tara. In other words, you can't give Meiser Rishon the rest of the years to a Kohen, you have to give it to a Levi, because you're curtailing its eating the Kohen, because the Kohen can't eat basic focus. Now, in the Bible, we have a Gzeira, and this is the article discusses at some length, actually a very nice discussion. In the I'll find it. I had it yesterday. Hold on a second. So this is the the art scroll in the Chilufik Rusas Birim on the first one on Amud Beis, actually. It says here that according to the Bavli, according to most of Rishonim, everybody agrees that after that Ezra fined the Levium that they should not get a portion they should no longer get Ma'aser Rishon because they didn't come up to Eretz Yisrael at the time of being by Sheni. So the machlokas is if only Levium I'm sorry, if also Levium can get it or not. In other words, Levium certainly there was a takana to give it, according to the Bavli, to give it to the Kohanim. The question whether the Levium could still receive it or not. But our Gemara clearly will bring down later on. Many Tanoim and Abaroim will hold that Kohanim are not allowed to receive Ma'aser Rishon even after the period of Ezra. And later on, also going to see that the issue of giving Ma'aser Rishon to Kohanim or not giving to Kohanim is an issue of Psukim. And Yerushalmi never mentions this Knas of Ezra. So, on this account, several Kohanim, including the Nir of Chaim Kanievsky, hold according to Yerushalmi, Ezra never actually find the Levium. The Knas itself is not explicit in the Psukim. So, it could be a matter of contention. The Rosh Sibilio holds that even according to Yerushalmi, there was a Knas, but it's not the same Knas as the Bavli. That he's based this on the Gemara later on, which we're going to see the article adopting the test, that Ezra made that they should bring the Meiser to a treasury in the base of Mikdash, and that it was distributed parts of it to Aniyim and parts of it other purposes, but not to Kohanim. And as time went by, this takana was not kept, and the people started distributing Meiser on their own. And they made the mistake of thinking that they should find Levim and give the Meiser to Kohanim. So then Yerushalmi comes back and says, okay, what's the correct thing to do? The people who did this, perhaps there's justification, perhaps there isn't justification. Let's learn it based on the psukim. So in any event, this following Gemara can only really be understood if the Yerushalmi does not hold that it was a unilateral knas, the way the Bavli understands it. Okay, so let's take it with that assumption. So the Gemara says, Asya Rabbi Lezer command Amar Emotzi Ma'aser Lakuna. Rabbi Lezer is going like opinion. Well, don't give Ma'aser to Kuna, and that's what he says. L'chatchila, give it to I know if I skipped a line. Emotzi b'shakol shem makom tumah makom tara. Only other years you have to specifically give it to Levim. Only when you're up against the wall with the year of the Ma'aser is coming up, then you give it to Kohanim. So that's going command Amar Emotzi Ma'aser Lakuna. You don't give Ma'aser to Kohanim. So in the days of Rabbi Yerushalmi Levi, they wanted to decide not to give Ma'aser to Kuna. So until then, at least there was some custom to give it to Kohanim. Again, according to Yerushalmi, not necessarily because of Ezra's Knas, but because like the Rashi says, some sort of custom which developed, or perhaps Ezra encouraged them not to give to Leviim, and they felt at this point that is no longer applicable. This hanhaga, let's not call it takana for this purpose. So they wanted to say, okay, we're not going to give Ma'aser to Kohanim anymore. Armin Maniel, who they said, who's going to come in and make the suggestion in the base Medrash or in the Sanhedrin? Rabbi Shimon Levi, the Messiah Levi. Let's have Rabbi Shimon Levi do, because Shimon Levi is a Levi. He'll represent Levim, assist Levim. So on the contrary, he came and said the opposite. Omri said, "Basim ba'ar makomas nikra leKohanim Levim." Showing for the place of Kohanim called Levim. There's Echamim, and one of them is the Kohanim Levim, and they tzaduk. So we see that, in fact, he said Kohanim, which is Levim when it comes to Ma'aser, because they're also Levim. Rabbi Yami Bagil, Rav Acha, having Yavin, having Yisim, they were sitting. And they said, and they were said this in order to sustain the concept of giving the Ma'aser Rishon to Kohanim. The Kohen, the son of Aaron, will be Levim at the time the Ma'aser is given to Levim. So the Kohanim can get Levim. Kohanim can get Ma'aser. This is Pasuk Nehemiah, Yud Lamed Test. So the Gemara says not necessarily. Lead in Chumas Ma'aser. Says give them because perhaps assuming Levim, not that they should get the Ma'aser, but they should get the Chumas Meiser. Vaksiv Albim Yalu S, instead of it says here, Maaser, it should be, Es Maaser, Maaser HaMaaser. It says separately. The Levim will give the Kohanim as Maaser Maaser. So it sounds like it's a separate pasuk Chumas Meiser, which is the end of that pasuk, and the first part of the pasuk of Meiser itself. So the Gemara doesn't answer that question. Gemara brings down a new statement. Rav Huna the Chevraya have a conversation. Rav Huna the Chevraya the base medrash. Chamin Amar Livnei Levi. It says in the Matnos Kuna in the Torah, it says it should say Livnei Levi. In other words, after it says Matnos Kuna, it goes on. It says Livnei Levi, but it says Ulivnei Levi with above. So it could have said Livnei Levi. It could have said Livnei Levi without above. Matam Lomar Vilivnei. And because from where you can learn that you can't give mice to the Kohanim because they're included together with the Kohanim. Kohanim Livnei Levi. The truth is that even if it wouldn't have said Vilivnei with above, it's still an indicator that Kohanim and Levim can get mice together. Nosi Maisakura, right? Why? Let's say somebody said, in bequeathing his estate, he said, my son so-and-so should take before everybody else, and the rest of my property my children can inherit. So, does it mean, when he gave the first group, does he mean when he forgave the first fellow, does it mean to exclude him later on from the general distribution? No, I mean give him priority and then include him in general distribution as well, right? Does he not take with him? He takes them as well. So here too, the Kohanim got their special matnos kuna, and then they're included with the general B'nai Levi. It's not a contradiction. They don't need the extra above. It's a moot point. The above is there, but they don't need it. Rabbi Yonah Rabbi Achar Ba'ula. Rabbi Yonah used to give his mitzvah to Rabbi Achar Ba'ula, who was a Kohen. But Lo Mishum Nav a Kohen. It says, well, it's not because he was a Kohen. Ela Mishum Nav a Loi Ba'Raisa. But it was a Talmid Chacham. And it says in the Divrei Yomim, the Nir and the Chaim Kanievsky and Levi Yerushalmi point out, it says Divrei Yomim based on Rav Dalet. By Chizkiah, Melech, they said to the people who lived in Yerushalayim, L'seis Menasa Kohanim Alvin L'man Yechazku B'Torah Hashem. There's a priority to be given to a Talmid Chacham, even though he's a Kohen. So it's not proof that you don't give that you should give to a Kohen, but when the Kohen is Talmid Chacham, he'll take priority over Levi, evidently who is not a Talmid Chacham. And that's what the pasuk says. My time by Yom Elam Yerushalmi says. I don't know why I brought that down from the near me. Still here in the Gemara. My time by Yom Elam Yerushalmi takes from us Kohanim Levim Mari Yechesku B'Torah Hashem. Okay. Rav Huna lo nasid meiser. Rav Huna was a Kohen, and he didn't take meiser. Rav Achal lo nasid meiser. Rav Achal was a Kohen, he also didn't want to take meiser. Rabbi Chia bar Ba Hori al Garmei. Let's say it's a chutzlar. It's again lo nasid meiser. Interesting way the Farshim explained. Rabbi Chia bar Ba was a Kohen. He could have taken meiser, but he didn't want to take meiser. So therefore, he went out to chutzlar because he couldn't find parnasa any other way. But in order to avoid taking meiser, because he was not willing to take meiser, he had to go out to chutzlaretz to get parnasa. So we see a fascinating thing. It's better to go to chutzlaretz for parnasa than to take meiser if you're a Kohen. Okay, so the Shah Barnash L'Rav Shimon Nachman. So a person, presumably he was a Kohen, the so changes this gears here in order to make this part of the previous story. But okay, let's go with the Pashim shot here. Shal Bar Nasha B'Shimon Bar Nachman, a person asked Rabbi Shimon Nachman, who showed Rabbi Yonasan, who in turn asked Rabbi Yonasan, Ma'od Denasib, can a Kohen take the Meiser? He said, yes, take whatever comes to your shame, it comes to you. It's not a problem. You're part of the Shei, part of the Shei. Okay, how you parse the next Gemara depends on how you learn it. There are separate ways, including the Gra, who learns it in a very different way. But we're going to do compare here the Levi Yerushalmi, so learning it with the Shai Teres Yisrael. And it has the word here, Chilonaya. And Chilonaya, the Vayikra Chabez Yud, it says Chol Zar Le'Yochal Kodesh, the Targum is Chol Chilonai Le'Yochal Kudsha. So Chiloni here means a non-Kohen. Again, the Gra is a different shot. It says the Chiloni is Yerushalmi, but we're not going to go with that shot. So Rabbi Yana Vakil Kivroi Tavim Chakrin Lo Chakrin Elmin Chilonaya. Rabbi Yana told his relatives, when you sharecrop a field, sharecrop it from non-Kohanim, not from Kohanim. Why? Because a Kohen who sharecrops out his field, he gets to keep the truma. That's what it says in my Parag Mishnah Gimel, and Mishnah Gimel, but the Kohanim were also keep the Meiser. And Rabbi Yana holds that when they kept the Meiser Shalokadin, so therefore he didn't want his relatives to sharecrop in fields of Kohanim and be machshel them, if they ever, and they're keeping the Meiser as well as the Truma. And then there's the two dots. And then Gemara goes on to something else. The Shara Yisrael says the opposite. He says Rihanna was a Kohen, and his relatives are Kohanim. And he's saying that when your sharecroppers try and take sharecrop fields from Yisraelim and not from Levian Kohanim. Because a Kohen who is the sharecropper from Yisrael, the Meiser is his. And even though normally they don't give a Meiser to the Kohanim, nevertheless, the Meiser which a Kohen takes from his fruit, we don't take it away from him, and you, since you're sharecroppers, we're not going to take it away from you, and you'll get the additional benefit of having the Meiser, not just the Trumas Meiser, from that field, since you're sharecropping it. Now, now according to Shai Yisrael, the next part of the Gemara is not a separate statement. It's a continuation, and there's no two dots here. And it's a continuation. I forgot that Tomer ain't no steam Meiser Kohuna, even though you say you don't give Meiser only to Kohanim. Mother Shem Motzim Yodo. We could see we don't take it away from him if he has it, if he keeps it. My timer, why? When you take from Bnei Yisrael the Maaser which I gave to you from them as your portion, when you the Leviim take it away from them, take from the Chumas Maaser. Motzi from Bnei Yisrael you take it. Then Motzi, and here it says Makir Kunavia, but the Rafulda and Leib Yerushalmi change it to Miyad Kunavia. So you don't take away from they only remove the Shumas Meiser forcibly, so to speak, the Meiser forcibly from a Yisrael, not from a Kohen. So that according to Shai Yisrael, this is the reason why you're going to be able to get the Meiser because you're the sharecroppers. You have Kadima. He's not going to give it to a Levi, even though you're going to be able to keep it. According to the Levi Yerushalmi shot, it's a separate statement that even though there's a statement, just a statement in and of itself, even though we don't give Meiser to a Kohen is separates Meiser from his fruit. He doesn't have to give it to a Levi. He is allowed to keep it for himself. Okay, now the Gemara says, "Va'asya." This statement of Meis Neson Motzi and Motzi Yakun Levia, there's a similar statement. Asakaita Marabi Lezer Kisichu Meis Bnei Yisrael Samaser Meis Bnei Yisrael at Motzi and Motzi Minagoy. Not quite the same drasha, but a similar drasha. We can only extricate Chumas Meiser from a Yisrael, not from a Goy. Since I'm Chumas Meiser, even if he pledges to give it, we're not Motzi the Chumas Meiser for it. Okay, so that's the Gemara is going to go on to have more about this issue of Chumas Meiser to Kohanim, but we're already well into the next plot, so we'll stop here for today.